Okay, let's add something of our own to this empty, expansive void. So how do we add things? Everything in Fusion starts with a sketch. What's a sketch? Think of it as lines, arcs, and curves, simple geometric shapes on a 2D plane. Think of it as the digital equivalent of drawing on a piece of graph paper with pencil. And making a sketch is as simple as confirming over here that you are in design mode and then clicking on the Create Sketch button. And when you click it, Fusion asks you a question, and it asks it by presenting these three orange 2D planes. Fusion is asking you which 2D plane do you want to place your sketch upon. Do you want to place it on the XY plane? Do you want to place it on the XZ plane? Do you want to place it on the YZ plane? You can kind of think of this as, where do I want to put my piece of paper before I start drawing on it with a pencil? Do I want to put it on the desk? Do I want to put it on the wall? Or do I want to put it on the window? Let's put our sketch on the XY plane, down on our imagined desk. Why? Well, look what I can see when I'm looking down at the XY plane. I'm looking down, if I look at my 3D compass, at the word top. I'm looking down at the top of my model, down at the top of my table. So go ahead and click on that orange square, and you will have told Fusion your answer to its question. You will have said, I want to use the XY plane, the one that I can see here from the top. And when you click, Fusion will create the new sketch and let you start drawing shapes in it. And you might be thinking, what exactly changed? Well, you now have a sketch palette over here with the Finish Sketch button on the bottom. And look up here, all of the buttons up at the top of Fusion have now changed into sketch mode, giving you the sketching tools. Seconds ago, they all looked like this, and so when you click that Create Sketch button, they all change. So let's use one. Click on the rectangle tool, and in specific, the 2-point rectangle tool, and click to place point 1, move your mouse to define the size of your rectangle, and click to place point 2. Good, let's leave it there for now because I want to move on to the third dimension before we get too fancy with our 2D sketching tools. So click Finish Sketch to come out of sketch mode, back to your solid modeling mode, and notice how you can still see your sketch, this enclosed profile filled in with light blue. Come on up here to your Extrude tool. It's simple and very useful. Click the Extrude tool and you will go into Extrude mode. And you'll have this little Extrude tool panel show up. And it's going to ask you for one critical piece of information, your profile. Notice how I've got one selected. If I hit this X button, I will have nothing selected and just Fusion asking me to select something. If I select my profile, the rectangle from my sketch, now I've got something selected again. With the profile selected, drag this arrow perpendicular to your sketch and you will extrude your profile into the third dimension, creating a three-dimensional volume for the first time. You might be noticing that the Extrude panel has many other variables that you could set. I want you to ignore them all for now. All of them except for this one here, the distance variable. Notice how I can enter numerically exactly the value that I want my extrusion distance to be. And I can enter it into the distance box that floats along near my extrusion, and I can enter it back here on the panel next to the word distance. Click OK to finish the extrusion, to come out of extrude mode, and then orbit your view to admire your three-dimensional monolith. Good. Now look down here at a very powerful aspect of Fusion. It's called the timeline. There's two items on it. There's your sketch, which is the rectangle at the bottom of your monolith, and then there's the extrusion. So let's click on the time bar and drag to the left to go back in time before the extrusion, and then back in time before the sketch. Then drag it forward in time to after your sketch and go, wait a second, where's my sketch? There's nothing on the grid. Well, at the moment you made the extrusion, Fusion thought you were done with it, and so it made it invisible. So open up your Sketches folder and find Sketch 1. Notice that the eyeball is X'd out. Click on it to make your sketch visible again. Now you should be able to drag your time bar forward and back and see every stage of the journey from nothing to finished 3D model. This is an extremely powerful tool, and next time we'll dive into exactly what makes it so powerful.